Hello.
Christina, did
Hello?
you have any problems? Sorry. Did you have any problems getting?
I had zero problems getting in.
Okay. The a couple of recent Zoom meetings seems to have stumped some people, so I just okay. No, it looks like people. Okay, good.
In progress.
Hi guys. Hi. Long time no see.
Evening, folks.
Hi, Bill. I'll give it a couple more minutes. I had a couple people call me and say they might be a little lagging.
Yeah, I was at the office and my computer went kaput and I couldn't get it back in, so I ran home.
They finally see the massive wave surging toward them, and they admit there is nothing. Hey, Valerie. Democrats say their private polls are showing worse numbers than the public polls, and the public polls are just left, so you know this is bad.
Somebody's got their television on in the background. It's kind of loud.
Black pastors say there's no enthusiasm in their community. Voters are chanting, "Let's go Brandon," when canvassers knock on their doors. Even so-called Never Trump Republican women, suburban moms, cannot wait to vote for Carrie Lane. And to in Michigan and these other Democrats try to plug holes in blue states like Oregon, Colorado, New York, and California. That's not exactly going on offense. The Washington Post says Democrats have cowered into
I don't really think we need all that political background.
inflation, crime.
Not me.
Me.
Angie or Judy, do you guys have a TV or a radio on in the background?
No, but I'll put myself on.
No, Christina.
Somebody's got something going.
My dog's in the background, but she's apolitical, so.
I get myself.
Okay, I see. Garth, you made it. All right, so we're going to start the meeting at call to order at 7:03. I'm going to take roll call. Angie DeSanto.
I'm here.
John Kopek.
Here.
Paul is not here. He had to work. Garth Bean.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Jesse. No, Jesse.
No, we got something that his daughter's in a play or concert.
Right.
Okay. Esther Jagozinski. Hugh McKenzie.
Yes, present. Yeah, present.
Thank you. Christina Davis.
Present.
Thank you. So Hugh, I'm going to seat you for Paul.
Okay.
And, let's see, that's 5. And Christina for Jesse.
Okay.
Okay. I've got a couple different communications here. Let's see what we've got going on.
Oh, I sent you guys the public informational hearing for the special meeting, right? You all got it?
I got it.
Yes, I got it.
I didn't get that.
You sure? I'll resend it.
Can you, I think sometimes somehow you're emailing Christine Abacoff and then I don't get included.
Well, I don't know how you would know that, but I apologize if you.
I just noticed sometimes when things I don't see and then it gets forwarded to me, I see that it says Christine Abacoff. So I think that's what's happening. Maybe if you're copying an email list, you're copying one that just doesn't include me.
I usually put everybody on the board one by one, but I will resend it, Christina.
I definitely didn't get it.
Okay. We got information from the school for the proposed school building project for the tank, the oil tank. It says you have recently submitted a school construction grant application for the code violation oil tank project for the school effective October 13th. Should Ashford fully comply with all statutory and regulatory school construction procedures and policies, the state of Connecticut approves a grant committed to reimburse the town of Ashford 63.57% of eligible final project costs as reported at the end of the project. To the extent that Ashford cost project of $270,000 accurately reflects the final eligibility project costs. So that's a good thing. At least we got the grant for that. And thank you, Cindy Ford. She worked really hard on getting that through. I did have an auditor's update. So the auditor's update, Sean had sent me, he attached the schedule of authorizing projects for the capital non-recurring fund that goes in the audit report. Previously, Cheryl would fill out the schedule and send it to us. Right now, I'm reaching out to see if I can get help with that. The status update of the audit, things are making good progress. There are a couple of items to wrap up, one being the schedule. And we are waiting on a confirmation to come back to Region 19 still, but we are close to being able to start putting together draft reports and running them through the internal review process. So the audit's going well, and we're getting close to finalization. And that's about it for that I have for communications. I don't know if anybody else has something they want to add. No? Okay. We got public comments for 3 minutes. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to state? No. Okay. Okay, we're moving on to the minutes of August 25th. Wow, it's been a while. A motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, August 25th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Was I there? Can I vote?
Hang on, let me look in.
You were not listed as present, Angie.
Okay.
Nope, we had me, Christina, John, Garth, and Bill. So John or Garth, would you like to make a second?
This is John. I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, are there any adjustments required?
Unfortunately, I have some. I know nobody wants to hear me go through them, but.
Well, I figured you would because I was trying to run the meeting and take the minutes and write the minutes and everything all at once. So I figured
I gotcha. All right, I'll try to be brisk. Under communications, A, you don't need the comma after group or after COPEC. On line B, Ms. Austin reviewed the reduction. You don't need the word of. For the dollar amounts in section B, you need the dollar sign in front of the amounts. There's 3 different dollar signs that are missing. Under 6A, Zoom technically should be capitalized, and then Cattle Rock is misspelled. There's only 1 D in Cattle Rock. Cattle Rock, I don't know how you say it. So there's only 1 D. On the back page, the first item that says the roofing project, there's 2 dollar amounts that are missing the dollar sign, 1.5 million and 4 million, both need dollar signs. Under the second item, starts with Mr. Folletti. The word solar should be lowercase. Under the third item, the word electric should be lowercase. Dollar signs are missing in this section. 3 different dollar signs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down. It says combustion issues in the Hartford region. I think the word region is missing. And then the section that starts with Ms. Davis asked. The third line, you don't need the comma after noted. Under item B, there are 2 dollar signs missing, 270,000, 35,000, both need dollar signs. And that's it.
No, I definitely had a problem with dollar signs, didn't I? Okay, thank you. Okay. The other thing too is I believe that I didn't have the vote for the closure of this meeting. I don't know if we want to do that too. I think I got out of it before I asked for everybody to vote.
Judy, point of order.
Yes, Bill.
As long as you have a motion and a second for adjournment, I've learned you really don't need a vote. It's undebatable once you have a motion and a second. So.
But I don't think I noted the motion either.
Okay.
Because I don't see it in the minutes.
Oh no, it's in there. It says that I made a motion and John seconded it.
Oh, okay. Yep, I got it.
And I think that's correct because I remember I made a joke like, well, Angie's not here, so I guess I'll make the motion on her behalf.
Okay. All right, so we're good with that.
Thanks, Christine.
We thought of you.
All right, so the motion to approve the, oh, excuse me, all those in favor with the corrections for the regular meeting of Thursday, August 25th, 2020. Do we have all those in favor?
John, aye.
Christina, aye.
You, aye.
Garth as well.
Myself as well.
I
Okay.
abstain.
Angie, yeah, Angie, you weren't here. Abstain. And I think, hang on, let me check the minutes. I think you have to abstain, Hugh. I don't have you as being there.
Okay, fine. I abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so four in favor and 2 abstain. Vote passes unanimously. Okay, on to new business. Bill, you're on.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I don't know if you were all on, but I was at the office and my computer went kaput. I couldn't get in there, so I've run home and I'm working off my personal laptop, and I'm noticing that battery is almost ended. So if I leave abruptly, don't take it personal. First, I'd like to. I've already welcomed them, but let you know that we've welcomed 2 new staff on to our town hall staff. We've hired a interim part-time treasurer. Her name is Sherry Susi. She is a full-time treasurer presently for the town of Sterling. She is working all days on Friday, and we're judging how much she can get accomplished and what she can get accomplished working from her laptop at home. She's got a boatload of experience, and I think it's going to be a real plus to the team. Her and Laura, she's been on almost 3 weeks now, and Laura and her are doing a fine job together and getting along, and I think it's going to be a very successful move. We hired her on a 3-month interim basis that I'm going to guess will be turned into a permanent situation unless something arises that we're not sure of or don't anticipate. We've also, I'd say she's a new hire, except she worked for the town for over 9 years previously. Kara Fishman left. She went to be a part-time assessor with the town of Willington and Bolton. And Lynn Byberg is our new assessor. She's a certified assessor, many years of experience as assessor in several towns, and highly regarded in the state in her field. And I've had several meetings with her. She's been with us now for about 2.5 weeks. And Kara is still consulting if anything needs to be consulted with. But it's been a smooth transition, and she's a welcome new member. Our STEEP grant that you folks are aware of, we applied for. If you remember, we had a special town meeting that we approved $100,000 as a matching fund. We received that grant, and it's a shovel-ready grant. Our Public Works Department is hoping to get that started. And this is on Southworth Drive and Pompey Lane. They're hoping to get it started the first part or middle of spring. And one of the things that I'm going to, and I'll let your chairman know and secretary once we get more information. From what I understand, we may need a special meeting with a resolution from you folks to set a special account. Because we don't get that money until after the project is completed, and we'll obviously need some working capital. We're contributing about almost $40,000 for materials and labor into the project already, and of course we have approval for that $100,000. But we may have to go through the mechanics, and I'll keep you folks posted on that as we get more information from the auditors on proper protocol. Let me see. The roof project at the school. We've had a couple of meetings. We had a meeting with the stakeholders and bond council last week. Ford joined us, and Judy was there. And our bond counsel, as well as our treasurer. And that process is starting. We're advised that the bond is going to be somewhere between 3.8 and $4 million. Basically, it's $35 a square foot. The roof size is 80,000 square feet. And there's a whole process that's also going to do, and bond counsel is drafting a resolution that the Board of Finance will have to pass, as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission. When we get those, I've been in communication with bond counsel several times since then. Once we get those resolutions, we'll obviously share them with you and fill you in on what the protocol is. We're hoping to get this in and get a town meeting. Probably the Board of Selectmen will be making a recommendation to go to referendum on this because it's such a high ticket item, but that's yet to be determined. We could approve it just by a town meeting, but historically we haven't done things that way. So stay posted on that. Jim Rupert, who's also on the building committee, was there, and that seems to be moving along. I think Judy's already touched on the oil tank replacement, and that's going ahead. As Judy had mentioned, that's $270,000 anticipated right now, and we're comfortable with that. And right now we've got confirmation from Department of Administrative Services through the state of a 63% reimbursement on that. The school teachers contract was passed by the union and ratified by the Board of Ed. It is a 3-year contract. The aggregate amount over the 3 years, I'm advised, is 11.54%. I believe I sent a copy of the contract when I got it from the town clerk to Judy and Paul to distribute to members in case you didn't get it. If you didn't get it, let me know. But,
sorry, Bill. That was my fault. I didn't send that out before the meeting. I will send that out. No problem.
No problem. I mean, if anybody can get it, it's a matter of public record at the town hall. That's kind of a 10,000 foot picture of it right now, but I was still reviewing it. But our ARPA projects that have been approved already, the Knowlton Town Hall, all of the HVAC updates have been completed. That project came in on budget at about $90,000. That put in split units. I believe there's 5 of them in the library and 4 large ones in Knowlton Hall itself. Seems to be working just fine. We're anticipating a considerable savings in our heat and electricity bill, as well as comfort levels and air quality as a result of that. Same thing with the fire department. The split units have been installed. They're doing some modifications because we found out that the old system, their heating was not connected up to their generators. And we had money left in our budget that had already been approved. So now if they do lose power there, they'll also have heat and or air conditioning as needed. What else I have here? The pickleball courts are up and running and being well populated. Did a very nice job, and everybody seems very happy with it. Presently, we've got a project that's underway. It started yesterday with upgrading all of the lighting systems to a much more efficient, more economical, easier on the eye system. That's anticipated to being completed by the middle of next week. There is a town meeting coming up on November 7th. It's going to start at 6:30. It will be a hybrid meeting. And basically what it's for is some of the items that we had approved at our previous town meeting for ARPA funding have gone up, some of them a bit drastically. Cost of amosite, cost of concrete is just about doubled, as well as supply chain issues have caused increases and delays in these things. So that town meeting basically will address those items. There is a new item that we've added for 20,000 additional funds to our social service department. We've got quite some concerns that we're hearing from residents and other folks, of course, about cost of oil. Right now, prices that we're seeing are, the highest I've heard was $6.48 a gallon, but they're around $6 a gallon right now. And we've had some families who are calling us because apparently the companies, if they can get oil, and there's some of the distributors that are unable to get oil without making reservations. I use Valley Oil, and I've been tracking the prices for some time now. 2 weeks ago, they couldn't get oil from their normal suppliers. They had to go to a distributor in Manchester that they hadn't dealt with for years. And they accommodated them. They filled up their 2 or 3 trucks they had, but they were told they're going to have to give at least 48 or 72 hours of prior notice before being able to get any more. So because of that, some of our families are saying that because of the 100-gallon minimum that many of these companies are charging, they don't have the money to even order the minimum amount of oil. There's another issue that's coming up. As I think you folks know, most of the apartment houses, with the exception of Ashford Hills on Varga Road, were bought by one firm. They also bought most of them, if not all of them, in Willington. And there's major increases going in the rents. We're hearing the highest I've heard is an $800 a month on a 3-bedroom apartment increase. They seem to be averaging between $300 or $400. We're anticipating if families can't afford that they're going to end up being evicted and having to try to make accommodations on an emergency level for those families is quite a chore. I had a meeting last Thursday. I called with all of the churches, with our housing authority, with our senior center director. I've been working with Melissa McDonald from Social Services, excuse me, trying to brainstorm and come up with a strategy on how, we're not expecting a lot of these people at the same time, although Lord only knows what's going to happen, but we even had the Salvation Army join us. And we think it's just the first of a number of meetings that we're going to have. Temporary accommodations seem to not be a major problem, but if you've got folks that have young children and everything, we're going to have to look beyond just temporary accommodations. An example is we had an abused mother, physically abused, that we had to make some long-term arrangements for. She could no longer live in her house, and we put her into long-term apartment in Manchester, and we had stayed in some federal funds that we'd be able to utilize on that. But those are the sort of challenges that we're looking at, and that's what prompted us to put more money into the social service department. So stay tuned on that. Any questions on that? I know I went on that subject quite a bit, but.
Now, Bill, the state doesn't help, or the federal government, for the accommodations, or the the help for these people?
Melissa is researching all that. There is fuel assistance that's administered by the state. Their funds are starting to run low. I understand there's state legislation presently before them right now to try to extend and increase those amounts, but nothing sure on that yet. Oh, excuse me here. Anyway, that town meeting is on the 7th, and that's going to start at 6:30. Again, a hybrid meeting. We'll be using the large conference room at Town Office Building, as well as a hybrid. We're going to have a Veterans Day memorial service on the 12th. Memorial Day is on the 11th, but this is on the 12th because the Boy Scouts are going to be participating. It's going to be at the Ashford Veterans Memorial. I'd encourage you folks to attend, and anybody you know that's apt to do that, it would be appreciated. We're going to be dedicating it to Leon Gardner. Leon just passed last week, and he was only one of 2 remaining World War II veterans. So that service is going to be dedicated to Leon. We're also going to pay homage to our last surviving World War II veteran that same day. And if you could make it, it would be much appreciated.
How old is Leon?
Go ahead. I didn't hear you, go ahead.
Well, how old was Leon?
About a month short of 100.
And when I was a kid.
Yep. Yep. We had a small bridge collapse. Happened a week ago last Friday. Boston Hollow in that area. And we've had to close that road temporarily. We co-own that bridge with the town of Eastford. And we've taken some emergency precautions to ensure its safety, and started to try to determine the extent of the damage. It looks extensive at this time, and cost estimates that I've seen are anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000. And what we're doing is researching a number of grants. We've been in touch with Deep, who's come out and looked at it. We've also been in touch with the Deep Federal Wing for fisheries that may have some funding available. I've got a meeting coming up with the first selectwoman from Eastford because we feel because we have a mutual boundary which runs the middle of the river, we should share cost on that. So the road is closed, and we'll stay tuned. It's not good news at all. The Kayla Rock property.
That's going to be sorry again.
Oh, go ahead.
That's going to be closed probably for quite a while then, right?
You're a little muffled, Garth. I didn't get the last part.
Yeah.
Was it about how long it may be closed?
Yes, that's what he asked.
Yes, I'm having technical difficulties. I think this might be better. That's why.
Yeah, I hear you fine now.
Okay. So it sounds like that road's going to be closed for a while then, right?
There's a potential there. What I've applied for is an emergency recognition because it is utilized by 2 and if you count Union, in 3 towns, although it's not utilized a lot. It is utilized by those 3 towns. And what I've been asking from Deep and also through a federal grant that's out there, can we do it and apply retroactively for reimbursement, treat it as an emergency situation? If we do it that way, we could get it repaired within 60 days. If they say no and it goes the long way, it could be almost up to a year. So we're approaching it and trying to get the recognition as an emergency. So
thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Is that the bridge? I remember, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, there was a bridge back there that washed out. Is it the same one or is it a different one? Has this one washed out?
The one with the huge culverts, exposed culverts.
Yeah.
That one washed out. I think it was probably closer to 20 years ago, but it's not that one. It's a smaller one towards the Eastford side.
Okay. But it's the same neighborhood, kind of.
It's right there.
Yeah, going over it, you barely recognize it as a bridge, but it is.
Okay.
Right before the Blue Trail.
That's it. That's the one. The Kayla Rock, as you know, in our budget, we had an appropriation of $300,000. If we got the $300,000 grant from the state, the deadline for that Brownfields grant was September 23rd. We met that date by a couple of days, as a matter of fact. And the application is in. We're told I don't know if it's being over optimistic, but we're told we should hear from them by the middle of December. So that's going forward. There's also, I will give you a heads up, although I can't give you the particulars of it because I don't know. I know they're looking at other things. There's the developer that owns the property up near the Ashford Motel. My understanding is going to be making a presentation probably to the planning and zoning in the near future on a commercial proposal up there. My understanding is that if it proceeds, they could become our largest property tax payer in town, and with employee personnel from 60 to 70 people. So I'd keep an eye on that. You know, they've had a small meeting. We invited a few number of people just to give them a brief view of where they are at this time, although they have not heard back from them since. I have been in some communication with them, but they're very optimistic that this is something that's going to be able to get by and be a benefit to the town as well as to the town of Union. So
did you say who it is? Like what kind of industry is it?
Campanelli is the construction end of it, Garth. They're a national group. But the owner, now you're going to have to forgive me, I don't remember his last name off the top of my head here, is the same owner that brought forward a couple of other proposals up there. What they have done, though, is they've taken over control of the Ashford Motel. They have them on contract, and they're controlling about 135 acres up there right now that is going to include in this proposal. If you're worried, it is not the proposal that was just shot down in Willington. Nowhere near that.
Warehouse.
Yeah, nowhere near that size. What they were talking.
No, I was just curious what type of business it was.
Well, they're talking about a mixed use, but there are warehouses involved. One of the things they're debating whether to do multiple or a large one or whatever, and right now they're in schematic design on that. That's about all I have. I know I've been going on forever, but does anybody have any questions about anything else or anything I forgot or anything I've talked about?
I do, Bill. Excuse me. I do, Bill. For the meetings in person, when is that going to happen?
Anytime you wanted to. Some of the boards are already, I was at an economic development meeting last night. They elected to go in person. I have checked with town council to find out if we were required to do them hybrid, because some of the towns are actually going strictly in person now. The legislation that still exists indicates that if you have a member that requests that it be Zoom or hybrid, you have to accommodate that. But what we're suggesting to committees and that is start meeting personally. If you still want to utilize the Zoom, you can do a combined that way. We are looking into, and I've got Savage giving us a price on converting the large room downstairs into something that will be user-friendly and that can be used hybrid. It'll probably take the installation of a couple of flat screens and a little more video and audio upgrades. But those are also something that we're thinking can be covered through ARPA funds.
So if we were to have the next meeting in person,
yeah,
is that going to be recorded Zoom too over there?
It's your choice. If you want to do it, it can be.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we expect people to come to our meetings, the public, and they decide not to come, they want Zoom, don't we have to provide Zoom every single time?
Only if it's a member, as I understand the legislation. It's not the general public that has the option to ask for it.
Okay. Okay.
I will tell you, and I think there's benefits of Zoom, you know, that can be spoken. But right now we're paying for those through ARPA, and I've seen the bills and everything, and it's quite expensive.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Can I ask a question about the school roof project?
Surely.
What, in a best case scenario, when might construction start? Like, is that super far away, or is it next year? Like, I just have no sense of how long this process takes.
Well, Christina, I'm glad to give you a guess on my part, but only as you consider it that. Right now, we're trying to do this to get into the construction season for next year.
For 2023.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else? I'm going to excuse myself. The only other thing I touched on, I know it's a little later in your agenda, Judy. I've asked Jesse to get me. I try to assist you folks as best I could on the annual report, trying to push some people. And I think we've been fairly successful, but I'm just waiting for a final list from him, which I hope he tells me he doesn't need it. But so I notice he's not here tonight. I do understand that's moving along, and you've got most of the delinquents that I was aware of.
Yeah, I spoke to him last night. I will get that list for you.
Very good. Okay. All right, folks, I'm going to sign out. You have a good night, and thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Okay, so we covered items 6A, 6B. The current expense and review reports, I haven't.
Sorry, excuse me, Judy. Do we need to vote to decide whether we're going to have the next meeting in person?
I don't think so.
Well, because he just said that if one member wants to be on Zoom, then we need to accommodate that.
I don't know if it requires a vote. I mean, we can discuss it. Is there somebody that's concerned about that?
I am.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you are, Angie?
Well, you get to a certain age and you feel uncomfortable. Does anyone know if anybody in any of the meetings that have been in person have gotten COVID from going to an in-meeting situation? Does anybody know anything about that?
No, I don't, but I've gone to in-person meetings at the school and I haven't gotten it myself personally. But I mean, if you're uncomfortable, we can always certainly do it both ways.
Well, I'm fiscally conservative, so I don't want to have to always have the Zoom. I understand that for now 2+ years, we've been paying for it. We have to pay for a lot of things. I'd rather not have to pay for it. I get that. So how do other people feel?
I could go either way. If somebody's concerned about health, I'm all for that, to accommodate. I don't have any issues either way.
Could I say something?
Yes, Valerie.
That room downstairs in the town hall is quite large. So if you were really concerned, you could really sit way at the back of the room and be away from everybody. So that might help.
Okay, I'm willing.
Does anyone know what the current COVID positivity rate in Ashford is?
I do not.
I think it's 8% in the state.
I mean, the reality is that the reality is that COVID is with us, and it's going to be present any place that people gather in, numbers above, a handful. So, I don't know how, because and like the positivity rates and whatnot, they really they're not that helpful right now because people are testing at home, so those cases aren't really getting counted. So, I know, from my kids being in school, like there's as many cases, it seems right now as there were in the spring. It's ever present at this point.
So to me, I mean, you could go grocery shopping and you know, have the same issue. It all depends on your comfort level. I agree with Valerie that there's plenty of room to spread out if we need to. I mean, it's something we can, I guess we can do the hybrid. It'll just, you know, continue to cost, but until people are comfortable. I personally would like to be together, you know, in a room talking like humans and
yeah, but Judy, you haven't smelled me though. So the one advantage of this is I don't need to shower.
Well, John, Garth, if you get COVID, you don't smell you anyway.
True, but I'm wondering. I have a family of 5, and only one of us has caught COVID. The 3 kids work at restaurants. I've been to concerts and in the cities and maybe I've caught it. I just don't even know it. I have no idea. But after being vaccinated, I just I'll do my best. And airlines and
knock
places.
on wood for you, Garth. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I'm going to New York to see Dave Matthews. I've been to 2 concerts since this COVID thing. And maybe I'm just lucky, or maybe I've caught it and just didn't even know it. I have no idea. For me, whatever you guys decide. I mean, if Zoom is an option, I'll probably stick to Zoom. Probably, but I don't know. I'm not going to be the deciding factor. I'm not. Let somebody else. I don't care.
I mean, I do personally like the idea of going back in person, just because I've never, some of you I've never met in person, but I also have appreciated the flexibility that Zoom provides. That you know, if my husband. Right. Well, there's that. But if my husband's traveling, I can still attend this meeting. Whereas if my husband's traveling, it's a real pain in the butt for me to get out of the house because of my kids. And I'm sure that's probably an issue for John too. So you know, if we could retain the hybrid piece, I would appreciate that.
Okay. I guess we'll go for a vote on in person, and then hybrid, and then Zoom. So who's in favor of in person?
I am. You.
Can we vote for more than one thing? Like I would vote for in person and hybrid.
No.
I think but you can't eat when you go to the town hall though.
This isn't one of those tiered voting systems. They can do it in Alaska, but not here, not yet.
So we can only vote for one option of the 3.
That's my understanding of how voting works currently in Connecticut.
I just want to verify with Judy. Is that what you want us to do? We just pick our favorite and that's what we vote for?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Because we could be here all night bouncing around, you know.
Sure, that's fine. I just want to be clear.
Sure. So in person, I'm good with in person. Anybody else in person?
I think you got me, right?
Yeah.
You. Thank you.
Okay, hybrid.
I'm a hybrid.
Yeah. What does that mean again? Hybrid?
Hybrid would be in person and Zoom.
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Go in person if you can, but I work second shift, to be honest with you, and sometimes I cannot get out of work, so I have to do things. So hybrid would work for me personally.
Anybody else?
I'm torn on this because I'm in the same boat. The hybrid is very, very convenient. because I can do it anywhere, whether I'm working or not.
Okay, so I mean, I can't really speak for Paul, but I mean, he's always on the road too. You know, it's probably easier for him when he's on the road, and Jesse too, as a matter of fact, because he's always going around too. I'm gonna put this on the table.
Yeah, good idea.
For the next meeting in hopes that everybody can show up and give their opinion. For now, because I don't want to speak for somebody else.
So does that mean?
Is everybody good with that? We'll have the next
meeting
meeting as Zoom.
Okay.
Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense. We've been doing this for how many years now?
Yeah, but the thing is if we don't have to pay for it, you know, because it is expensive, and we can, you know, distance ourselves. I mean, originally we were on the board and we didn't have anything called Zoom, and we all met just fine. So I mean, it's something to think about and ponder, and we'll get the other opinions.
And I can understand the continuing hybrid Zoom because of concerns over COVID, but I don't understand convenience because I knew the risks when I took the job. And if I was going to get elected to a board upon which I knew I had to serve, then I grasped the realization of, at that time, pre-COVID in-person meetings. So if COVID diminishes to the point where in-person meetings become the norm, then I would hope that's what we would embrace as a board, not just hybridization for the sake of convenience.
Understood.
We're Americans. We love convenience. Got emails, microwave ovens, HOV lanes. We love convenience.
You're so spoiled.
I know I'm spoiled. I realize that.
All right, so we'll put this on the table until we have the rest of the group to discuss it and see how they feel, and then we'll go with the majority of the group. All right. The 2023 meeting schedule, I still need time to work on that. I wanted to get something put together and sent out to you guys before we discuss it, so that we have something in hand, if you don't mind. Okay. And the same goes with the budget calendar. So those two I'm working on, I just haven't completed. So I'm going to table those to the next meeting. Old business annual report update. Jesse's not here, so I don't know exactly what he's missing. We'll get a list of that, or Jesse, hopefully, next meeting. The audit update I spoke about during communications. We're almost to the finalization stage. And the oil tank, we already spoke about. So the next meeting, let's see. We're going to talk about the action for in-person meetings. I should have that completed for the meeting schedule for both the regular meetings and the budget calendar. And we can discuss and finagle however we decide.
When's our next meeting, Judy?
Of course, Angie, you have to ask me when I don't have the regular schedule in front of me.
I have November 3rd, but I don't know if I have it correct.
I think that's correct, but I'm not going to swear to it, and I'm not giving my firstborn.
Okay.
I don't.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll
volunteer my firstborn.
Oh. Okay. And then we want the update on the annual report. And an audit update if we have it. Okay, so that'll be some of the agenda items, and then we'll add as we go if something comes up in between. For the remarks for the good of the board. So I wanted you guys to know, I attended a couple of the negotiations for the teachers contract, and I kind of wanted to do the para one too, but I wasn't very specific as to which meeting I would like to go to. So I ended up with the teachers anyway. I found it pretty informative, and I thought the Board of Ed did an excellent job of questioning and negotiating with the union. I really felt like they did their best. And I guess as we're going into this budget season, I would ask you guys to challenge yourself to be compassionate to the town members and the school, and to be respectful. And I mean, not that you guys aren't, but really sit back and listen to the other side. And I'm not saying that, you know, you have to go with either way or whatever. I'm just saying, I thought those people really tried their best at those contracts, and it's going to be hard. This year is going to be really, really hard. So, yeah, just be respectful. I don't want to hear comments about how it's, you know, only $50 a month or whatever. A lot of people are hurting out there. So I'm just asking you to keep that in mind when we go to discussions, which are coming up pretty quick. And that's about it. I appreciate you guys for showing up, and I hope you have a great week.
Okay.
And so
here we
Angie,
go.
Angie, would you like to? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Hopefully.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.